Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross from PTCGRadio, and I'm back with another game I played on PTCGO, the official online program of the Pokemon trading card game. And you'll notice straight away here that it came up that my opponent has the advantage here. He's expecting my opponent to win, or the computer is, and that always gets my goat up a little bit. When I see my opponent's got an advantage, it makes me want to win even more. Now I'm playing the same Lugia deck I played in my previous video, although there may be a couple slight changes here and there. Now, he's got Genesect sleeves, he starts with Genesect. I think it's fairly safe to assume that he's playing Virizion Genesect. And of course, with him playing Virizion Genesect, he's going to go first. Now, essentially, what I'm going to try and do is use my Lugia to kill his Virizions before he gets an army of Genesects up and running. The problem is with that plan that I really need to be KOing a Virizion, preferably before he's done an Emerald Slash, but definitely by the time he's only done one Emerald Slash. If I went first here, I'd be able to get free energy onto my Lugia using 2 Chorus Machine and a Psychic. All I would need to do then next turn, and it's a fairly tall order, but if I by the next turn was able to get free Deoxys and a Muscle Band, I would be able to KO that Virizion straight away. And actually that Shadow Triad would have been able to get me a 3rd Chorus Machine, so I can actually have gotten a turn 1 Lugia there, albeit only for 120 damage, though the bike would have been able to do more. And you'll see that wonderful hand there. I can Chorus 2 free cards, which isn't going to do very much, or I can Juniper away a Juniper, a Chorus, and free Bicycle, which is utterly almost repellent if that's not too over the top. Now I can bench a second Lugia there, but instead I'm going to get out a Deoxys using the Ultra Ball. What I'm trying to do here is empty my hand as much as I can, and Bicycle, trying to hit a switch, because if I hit a switch I can start attacking. And of course I don't. So I've gone from a really good turn 1 play, I go second, I get end, and I don't even manage to hit one of my switching cards. I believe I'm playing 4 in this build, and unfortunately I'm left with just a Chandelure with 1 energy. Now, all my opponent is looking to hit here is 1 energy, preferably a grass, and a switch or a float stone or an escape rope in order to start Emerald Slashing with Virizion. The one bonus here is that Lugia has 180 HP. What that means is that if he Emerald Slashes with a Muscle Band, he'll do 70, and he would then need to Megalocannon with a 2nd Muscle Band in order to get the KO without using G-Booster. And that helps me a little bit here. It means he's basically going to have to use a lot of resources, or he's going to have to use G-Booster to KO my Lugia. And what you're trying to do when you're playing against a Virizion Genesect deck is run them out of resources, run them out of energy. So now you'll see here, I again have a hand full of supporters, but luckily here I'm able to hit a switch. Now I don't have everything I need to be pulling off a big Lugia play, but it's not the end of the world here. I've now got free energy on a Lugia, leaving it pretty much ready to go, and I can start placing some damage counters with Chandelure. Now it's going to take 3 turns of placing damage counters with Chandelure in order to kill that Jirachi, and I don't think I'm going to have 3 turns with Chandelure before it's dead. So I'm not going to go after the Jirachi here. What I'm doing is I'm doing a little bit of mass, and I'm thinking, let's assume the worst case scenario, he's going to play a Startling Megaphone, so my Lugia is going to be doing 140. Let's assume I don't draw into a let's assume I don't draw into another Deoxys. Let's assume he plays a Startling Megaphone. What am I going to want to do? I'm going to want to kill his Genesect there. So I'm placing damage onto Genesect so that I'm able to get the KO next turn. Now, best case scenario, I'm able to get some kind of switching card and a 3rd Deoxys, and I'm actually able to KO his Virizion with I'm able to KO his Virizion with my existing Lugia. But the downside with that, and I did talk about this a little bit in my previous video, what I don't want to happen is I get free prizes and then he comes up and G-boosters me and I've got no energy. If you look at the hand, my hand there, I've got a Colress machine, I've got a plasma ball, and I've got a double colourless. So what I'm able to do here is actually set up a second Lugia in the same way as my first. So I'm able to get a second Lugia on the bench, with a plasma energy, with a double colourless, which basically means one of two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to be able to Lugia 2 turns in a row, or he's going to Red Signal and G-Booster, or Megalo Cannon with a Muscle Band, to kill my Deoxys. But if he does that, I've got a Deoxys ready, I've got a Lugia ready to go, killing his Genesect with a G-Booster, making it incredibly unlikely he's going to be able to kill my other Lugia, meaning that I can use Lugia 2 turns in a row and get 2 KOs. I hope that made sense, I hope you followed that. Essentially, I set up 2 different Lugias, or I set up 2 Lugias, he kills one and is unable to kill the second, meaning that by taking a slightly conservative approach here, I'm almost guaranteeing myself a Lugia 2 turns in a row. Now I'm actually playing a full complement of 4 Colress in this deck, because it's just too gosh darn good. And you'll see there it drew me 9 cards. I've now actually got 1 Lugia entirely ready to go. And a second Lugia pretty much ready to go. And I've got that extra Deoxys. And I've got a Float Stone. So although I actually went the conservative route to try and make sure that I could just spread some damage counters around and then Lugia my following 2 turns, by playing a full complement of Colress, I've actually managed to get the KO this turn, and I'm Lugiaing for 150 next turn if I can just draw into 1 energy. You'll notice I've also got a Muscle Band here, so unless my opponent is able to kill a Genesect, unless my opponent is able to kill a Deoxys and I'm not able to draw into one, or my opponent is able to end me here, I win. Guaranteed. I've got an energy and I've got a Muscle Band. He needs to end me and hope I draw dead, or kill a Deoxys. He does neither, which means I'm just going to be able to stick up a Lugia, attach an energy and a Muscle Band, and I will get the KO and a very quick win here. Lugia has always done this to Virizion Genesect, and you see, he wasn't able to get going quick enough, he wasn't able to get the G-Booster going like he'd like to. He did manage to get the KO without G-Booster, which was quite nice, but regardless, I was just a little bit too fast. He was in a position there where he was able to attach an energy G-Booster and get the KO the following turn, but it was irrelevant. Slightly douchey here, and I do this in testing games. I'm trying to see how big a KO I can do. If I needed the extra Deoxys, would I be able to draw into it? So my apologies to anyone I play online. I do that because these are testing games. I want to see if I needed the Deoxys, would I be able to get it? So another game there showing the strength of Speed Lugia. It's not a perfect deck, I don't have a perfect list, but there is certainly potential. As always, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll be back soon with more videos.